And welcome everybody. What we're going to do is go through a little bit of a black and white exercise here. Something that is kind of an upfront, sort of a free lesson for the black and white class. So it's kind of an overview of how I think in black and white and what I do in black and white. So we've got a couple of photographs here that I did of Brianna, of a friend of mine, a couple of months, well, about a year ago, up near Superior, Arizona. We were just out having fun, and I thought, how would I convert these to black and white? These are some shots I just went through and did another cull of these shots to show you what I would and would not choose for black and white. Okay, so when I shot these pictures, I shot 3 of these pictures to be done in black and white. 3 of them. I wonder if you can tell me which ones they are. Can you think about which ones they are that I shot specifically to be in black and white? Well, one is the one that's on the screen right now. I knew that one was going to be black and white. The other one I thought would be black and white was this shot here where she's laying on the bench. Why? Well, let's look at it. She really stands out from the bench very well. And we can definitely see her contrasting off the back. The red in the top is so deep that it does pop away from the skin. I don't think we're going to have any trouble there. So that, and the fact that these sort of colored tiles here don't really work for me. I really think this shot could work well in black and white. This one, of course, in black and white. In color, it's boring. It's just terrible. She's under the tree, natural light. I can pull her up and do all kinds of things, but I really can't make this shot look a whole lot better. I did do one in color, a little bit different facial thing, but it just, in color, I had to enhance all the color and bring the greens out and stuff. But it doesn't work. In black and white, as I'll show you, it really, really works well. And then we get back into here, and it's this one. Her skin tones, the rocks and everything, I think she pops out very well, so I'd really like to see that in black and white. This, I see this, the black swimsuit, the dark shadow, I just don't know. I use a set of presets from RNI, and I really like them for a lot of reasons. One thing I can do is I can take a quick look at this in black and white. As a matter of fact, let's go back to the beginning and we'll take some quick looks at them in black and white. So this one here, I'm going to use a film that I would possibly use in real life, Ilford Delta. Does it work in black and white? That's not terribly good, but see, that's not the film I was thinking when I was thinking about the shot. I was actually thinking T-Max 100. Now, we have bright skin tones, we have separation, we have the top separated. The blue, notice what the blue does with her skin tone. It kind of blends in, right? So when we do a conversion of this to black and white, not just a preset, presets are fine, but they're not enough. Here's T-Max 100, not high contrast. We do have that blue in there. So I think we'll be able to make a pretty decent shot out of that one. Reset it back to color. This one probably would do the same thing. Now watch this one. We convert this to black and white. I'm use the same T-Max 100 right here. And in black and white, it's just boring. I just don't see this working in black and white. If I was shooting black and white film, I wouldn't have shot this picture because it just doesn't work real well in black and white. This one, watch this. Boom. So much more interesting when all of this is now no longer in color and we have her. And we're going to have to do something to her. Obviously, she's a little bit dark in there, and we'll bring that up. But you can see we're definitely on a good point there. This one will probably work okay. And it does. It just, yeah, has that, I don't know. I really don't know if I would shoot that and convert that to black and white or leave it in color. I may like it in black and white a little bit better. This one's kind of fun in black and white. I can see that. Yeah, see, it pulls her from the background pretty well. Her hair does pull from the background. The highlights on the leaves are kind of cool. That one would work. This one, let's take a look. I don't think it's going to work. No. No, she just doesn't stand out. Her skin tone and the rock too close. See? The luminance values are just too close. This one, yeah, this one probably has a nice sort of modelly black and white look to it. I think I could probably make that one work, but I'm not all that crazy about it in black and white. And in this one in black and white, let's take a look what we got here. T-Max 100. Boom. Really pops in black and white. If I go to the high contrast, a lot more fun. And that's because even though her skin and the rocks, when they're in sun, have the same luminance, here in the shade, not so much. She really does pull off the background pretty well. Got some backlight in the hair and the whole bit. So let's choose one of these and convert it to black and white. We're going to do this one right here. And I'm going to go over here. I'm going to just go ahead and use this T-Max 100. I'm going to blow this up. She's a little dark in there, so I'm going to use the little tool here to lighten up her face just a little bit, like that. I don't know if I'm going to do any, well, maybe that tree. Maybe I'll pull that tree up just a little bit. We'll go up in there as well. Just a little bit in the exposure range. There we go. Take her back. Now she's coming out of there pretty much. I'm probably going to go ahead and do everything else in Photoshop. All right, so let's pop over to Photoshop. I'll have to reset there we go. Reset the thing right in our window here. So there we go. One of my favorite tools is Vivesa, and I use it a lot. I'm going to use it here. I'm going to take it right in on her. Take it right here. I'm going to place it right on her cheek here. Make the circle a lot smaller. I'm going to bring up all those light tones just a little bit here. And I'm going to bring up the structure just a little bit so she stands out. Very good. I'm going to add one up in the hills there and darken that just a little bit back there. Up the contrast just a little bit. Then I'm going to hold the Option key down, grab that button, and move it over to these mountains over there until I find the right spot. There we go. Okay, so now it's starting to look like a nice crisp black and white photograph to me. You can see it without the Vivesa and with the Vivesa. Really does pull her up pretty cool. All right, I'm going to go down here and choose levels just to check my levels. Let's bring levels over in here. So I do have a nice spread of black to white here all the way through. It's been the RGB. Pretty darn nice. I'm going to leave that. I don't have to do a whole lot. We've got some black up here in the tree. We've got some bright white here in the jacket and out here. All of this looks pretty good. I'm going to go into my layers here. I'm going to create a new layer based on the layers that we have here. That's Command Option Shift and E. I now have a layer above that's all of these layers below. So I have like a new base layer to work on. I'm going to double that, create a copy of that, turn it off, go back to layer number 1 that I just created right here, the new layer. I'm going to add filter other high pass. And right here at about 5 should work just fine. It's a little much, but we're not going to use all of it. So I'm going to say OK. I'm going to go to the layer above it. Oh, sorry. I'm going to go back to that layer, and I'm going to, not hard light, soft light. Blend it with soft light. So is it sharper? Yes. As a matter of fact, it might be just a little too sharp for Bree right here. We may not want that much sharpness, but I do want it in the stuff around her. So I'm going to turn that on, go back to this layer here, the layer above, and add a mask. Fill that mask with white. Yep, so it's filled with white. I'm going to take black in my brush, and just to test it out, I'm going to put my opacity at about 65%. There we go. See, I'm going to paint the sharpness back in. So let's take our image back out here, take it to my brush, and then I'm going to paint with black. I'm going to paint that sharpness back in where I think it'll really pop the most, and that's in this foreground up here. Just to get a little sharpness all around that part without really affecting Bree that much. Let's go ahead and take a look at that thing that she's sitting on. Can we make that a little bit sharper? Perhaps we can, yeah. All right. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go Command-Option-Shift-E, go up to the top there, and using using Nick, I'm going to go to the Darken, Lighten, Center, which is a very nice way to vignette. You can do a little bit more control with vignette than doing it manually, the way I've done it in the past. I've started using this. I think it's pretty nice. How much are we getting here? Just about right. I have, yeah, just about right. I'm going to go with that. That looks good. And now we have a black and white shot that I think works out very well. There's really no doubt what the subject is. There's really no doubt where we are. There's a sense of foreboding in the dark tree above her. There's a sense of her just being a little bit light in the foreground. So I think this works really well. So we're gonna go with that. All right, with this shot, what we're going to do is just pop it a little bit. As it is, I think it works okay, but it's just not great for me. It's okay. It just doesn't have that much pizzazz. I think in black and white, it's going to have a little bit more fun stuff. So I'm going to go down here and remove the chromatic and then we are going to rotate this bad boy just a little bit because it's just a little crooked. And constrain the crop. That works out pretty well. I don't like this up here, so let's crop this. This bench is on a background that's not straight, but I'm going to, for sake of this image, I'm going to straighten. I think maybe I may have straightened it a little too much. No, that looks all right. Okay, so let's take it into black and white. I'm going to go really quickly here up to my Pan F Plus that I like a lot and go with the high contrast Pan F Plus. The reason is the high contrast Pan F Plus is very ungrainy. It's a very, very smooth grain film, and we can make this work pretty well. So I'm going to say that's good. That's really good right there. I'm going to grab this thing, and I'm going to come right down under the bench just a little bit with this, just to darken it. See how it makes her legs stand out just a little bit more? We'll take it through the floor here as well. That way. A little bit lighter on top, a little bit darker on the bottom, and her foot and legs stand out a little bit better from that background. All right. Am I done in Lightroom? I think I'm going to say done and move it over to Photoshop. Bring Photoshop back into the frame here. Yeah, see, I like that pretty much. The things that I'm not crazy about, I'm not really crazy about the way the blue jacket sort of melted into her tonal wise. I do like the nice skin tones all the way through. The walls are very nice here. I think I'm going to use a little bit of finesse on it, but not that much. Let's get, we have a hair coming in on the face right there. Let's get rid of that. Just a little bit of touch up here. Not much. Not much touch up. New layer. And on lighten, clone stamp, and on 25%. That's fine. I'm going to come in here and just lighten that right there. It's a little bit big, so all right, not bad. All right, so we've got this jacket that we've got to do something with, and I think the best thing to do with that is to go up above. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and create a new layer. Command Option Shift E. I do this periodically, and of course I end up with absolutely giant files. New layer, overlay, black chosen, and opacity's got to be like 10% here. We go. We go down in here. Just going to add a little bit of black to that. Going to burn it down. Let's get a little more out of it. Doesn't look like we're doing very much, but we are. We are doing a lot to that jacket. You can see by turning it off, turning it back on again. Let's go ahead and look at the whole shot. And turn it off, turn it on. You see, doing quite a bit. I'm going to use that same technique with the black. I'm just going to add a little bit darker edge to the top here. Just going to go from this side to the other side with my Shift key down once, twice, 3 times, just a little bit. Come down in here, add a little more shadow to that, just to pull that leg out a little bit. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty darn nice. Okay, so Command Shift Option E, new layer, copy that layer, turn the layer above it off, go back to this layer, and now I'm going to go into my levels. And with that layer, I'm going to pull my blacks way up. I'm sorry, my whites way up here, and my midtones way up there. A little bit more. Boy, that looks pretty terrible, doesn't it? And I'm going to say, okay, let's put that away. I'm going to go to that layer right above it, and I'm going to add a new mask painted with white. And grab my brush at black and take it up to about 15% here. And I'm going to pull some of those highlights from the hair, right, just like that. Just get a little bit of highlights in the hair there, so it's not so black. If that is a little bit strong, I don't think it is. I think we're good. I think it looks pretty good. And I think that's it with the shot. So I think we got a pretty nice shot pretty quickly because it was shot for black and white. That was what was going through my mind at the time. So I hope you enjoyed these two little lessons, and I appreciate you coming along for the ride.